What up? What up? What up, world? We're back. It's week 2, the start of week 2. We're going to be coming in today doing some roster construction. Any starts, or we're going to do start sit on Friday. But if you have any roster questions that you're kind of, wondering about if you should add this guy or trade this guy or take this trade or something like that, like I said, we're going to do some buy, sell, and trade as well. So make sure if you have questions, make sure you're, very descriptive in the box. Just makes it a little bit easier for me to understand. Make sure I know, the guys that you have, the guys that, you're looking to grab and all that stuff, PPR, all that fun stuff. As long as you guys put all that in the chat, I'll be able to, help you out with any questions that you guys have about that. We're going to give you guys some names, some, just from every position. We're going to give you guys some guys that might have gone through and, kind of skipped waivers that people kind of just didn't pick up on, but maybe you should keep an eye on and, or, pick up right now so that you don't have to worry about it next week. First, I just want to do some quick little housekeeping just to get these things out of the way. Remember, we have our 600 subscriber giveaway. I mean, you're getting a signed Gabe Davis jersey. This is huge, but we got to get to 600 first. Only subscribers will be eligible, so make sure you guys, get as many people in here as possible. We really would love, the help. This is why we're doing this. We want to be able to get up there. We're trying to hit that 1,000 mark, but we're going to hit this 600 mark first and try to, move forward as well. So hope everyone's having a wonderful Wednesday night. We got Ronald in the house. What up, people? What's going on, Ronald? Hope all is well. We're here to, like I said, we're going to be answering some, some roster construction questions. We're going to be talking about guys that aren't really rostered. There's only one guy I'm going to talk about that's a little bit over my 40%. But we're going to be talking about mostly players that are 40% or less and why I think that they should just be added. QBs are probably going to be more on the super flex side of things. They're not really guys that you're looking to play if you're in a, just a regular 1 QB league. There should be plenty available if you're in that, unless someone, likes to grab like 4, QBs. Other than that, we're going to just run through that real quick. And, like I said, if you guys have questions, just drop them in the chat. Make sure you guys are, being very descriptive. Let me know, PPR league, make me, I need to know everything. Don't just give me little tiny things of, start Nyheim Hines. No, give me a little more than that. So, all right, let's see what we got going in the chat. Ooh, we got Ray W. What's going on, Ray? How about them Giants? Yeah. Did well. Very happy. Very happy that game happened. I was shocked as can be. I don't think I've seen my dad happy, but I've never seen him go that, get it out of control happy. That was a great game. Really enjoyed it. Ronald going with my 0.08 loss in a league. Oh my God. Ronald, I am sorry. I put a poll on Twitter and I asked him, like, would you rather lose by like 100 points? Would you rather lose by less than 1? Or would you rather lose by a stat correction than, on today and, flips you to being on the losing side of things? So I feel for you that my answer is definitely the close matchups. I hate those the most. Them boys in the house. What up, Mike? Albert in the house as well. Ooh, Ronald saying I'd rather lose by 100. I don't blame you, brother. Don't blame you. Jonathan Smith, what's going on? Hello, been a while and already in love with this season. Dak is out. Najee is banged up and Keenan is out as well. Yep, and we're going to be talking about some of that as well. So Ronald goes, I'd rather lose by 100, so I feel like it wasn't my fault. I agree 100%. There was a guy that I posted on Twitter that had, I think he only put up 50 points out of the players that he had, and he had everybody. He had, you name a guy that only had like a point, and he had him. Like, and I looked at his team, and I'm like, I didn't tell anybody to draft anybody in this group except for Allen Robinson, and I'm like, everyone else I was like, avoid, avoid, avoid. Just worked out. So I got a question from Jonathan. Thoughts on your G-Men and Saquon? Sure. So I'm very happy. I thought they did a great job. I think Brian Dable did, a pretty good job. The way I like to view week one now, since there's only 3 preseason games, it's kind of hard to judge week one because a lot of the starters didn't play. A lot of the things, didn't really, everything was kind of, there were a lot of penalties, a lot of things they could have worked on. They needed to polish things up a little bit. And this was the first week all the starters were there. And for me, you need a little bit more time. So for me, week one is kind of week, preseason week 4, for a lot of players. That's why the games were so, out of control in some situations. But overall, I thought the Giants did well. I think Daniel Jones actually performed, a little bit better than I expected. He didn't do like elite numbers, but he was pretty consistent. He didn't really, he turned the ball over once. He had the one little fumble. But beyond that, he looked okay. He threw the ball pretty well. That deep shot to Sterling Shepard was a little short. I think the biggest question everyone had was the Kadarius Toney. I think that's the biggest question for right now. I think they're going to ease him in. I think he's still learning the playbook. I think there was a lot going on. Like he wasn't really in, he wasn't really in preseason because of the concept that he was hurt and, he didn't get to go learn the playbook. So I think that's what, kind of hindered him. But, Wan'Dale Robinson isn't going to be in this week because he's hurt. So I think they might have to use him a little bit more this week. So hopefully, we'll be able to get that, get everything kind of moving against Carolina. I mean, Carolina, they kind of held their own. They did the best they could against, the Jacoby Brissett Browns. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But I think it should be a good game. Ray W. Should I drop Ayuk for Palmer? PPR would be a bench player anyway. No. That was one game, only one game, and it was just crap weather. I mean, if you have a crap weather game, you can't take that away. I do like Joshua Palmer. I'm not saying not to, but if you have someone else other than Ayuk, that's someone that I would probably drop for Palmer. But no, do not drop Ayuk for Palmer. I would not. Ronald saying the same thing. Ayuk is in for a great season. I agree. Kittle's probably not going to be there as well next week. They're probably not going to play in slop like they did this week. So just be aware. Ray says, yeah, I figured, but got burned last year. Yeah, no, I can understand that. Them boys is agreeing to keep Ayuk as well. Ronald going, you just lost. Mitchell going to push Debo and run more with Ayuk de facto number 1 behind Kittle. I agree 110%. Then Boy says, who knows who's actually going to get Keenan targets. I agree. I think they're going to spread it out a little bit. Justin Herbert is definitely someone that can spread the ball around. So I'm not really too worried about it, but I think Mike Williams will be the, beneficiary of it. John Smith goes, do I hold on to CD or do I try to sell him because I have him and Dak and Dalton Schultz? I think if you can try to sell CC, go for it. I'm not a big fan of CD Lamb just because the whole situation in Dallas, their line, everyone kept trying to tell me, different, but that line looked like crap. I kept seeing the rookie left tackle, double teaming, the inside guy. And then just, they let they let a pass rusher on the outside just hit that clean. I mean, it's bad. Like Tyron is definitely missed. So honestly, I would really be trying to sell guys like CD. You can hold on to Schultz. I think Schultz will be used a little more because they're going to be short intermediate routes, but that's just me. You could probably get something decent for him if you tried, but hopefully the player in your league doesn't know that. He's, more of a high-end wide receiver too, in my opinion. You don't need to be on the deli to study a playbook. I don't understand what that means. You said on the field. It is what it is. Ray says, I don't trust Lance. I don't trust Lance either, but he's going to be thrown to. It's just something I'd rather have. I mean, Palmer is definitely going to be targeted. Like I said, I just, Ayuk's in a better situation and slightly better talented. Den Boy says, if you can actually get something out of CD, but he's probably not going to get you anything. Yeah, you're probably not going to be able to trade him, but if you can, give it a try. Jonathan says, I'm just upset because Jerry didn't put Dak on IR. Oh, I don't blame you, brother. I don't understand it. I think Jerry is delusional. Like, there is no way that he can. That every expert I've read or listened to, they've all basically said it's going to be more than 4 weeks. So why risk it? Why make it where you have to kind of you screw your roster in real life, not in fantasy? I understand in fantasy it screws us up as well, but you're screwing up your real life roster. Why the hell would you do this? Why the hell? I don't understand it. It is what it is. Just, right now, just wait till he's labeled as out, because they'll just wait until Friday to label him as out. And, then you can put him in some leagues, you can put him on the AIR as out. So Ronald thinks, I hope it's only for 4 weeks. I don't think so. A lot of people said it's going to be closer to 6 to 8. So you guys got to remember the surgery alone takes at least 2 weeks to heal, and then they have to reopen it to then take the plate out. Like, that's the whole part of this. Like, it has to heal. So the surgery happens, they close up, it heals, and then they literally reopen the skin, take out the plate, and then re-sew up. So it's going to take some time. I don't know where Jerry Jones is getting this. I don't know if it's, just delusional, or I don't know. I don't understand it. So, but they must know something more than we do. But I've been around surgeries enough with other people that I've learned that it's not going to happen. So Jonathan says, so do I look to drop him if I need the bench spot and play add drop with QBs every week, or go looking for one? Ronald says, get Rush. This will affect Dak all season. Dump him. Yeah, I don't agree. I do and don't agree. You should definitely hold on to Dak. If you can just easily put him on that, I would. Got guys like Wentz, Kirk, and Mariota on my waivers. Oh, dude, then go grab Wentz, and I would drop Dak, and I would grab maybe Wentz or Mariota. I think Wentz would probably be my answer. Let me look at their schedule, just to I want to get an idea of what they're going to be doing in the next few weeks. Yeah, I would definitely go Wentz. I mean, at least next week he has Detroit. I agree with Ronald. Definitely pick up Kirk if you can. If there's a guy you can drop for Kirk, I would. I would not drop Ayuk for Kirk, but no, you know what? I might actually. I think if anything, I would drop Ayuk for Kirk. I think I would do that. John, what's going on, Jonathan? Someone traded CMC Singletary for Clyde Edwards, Kirk Connor. It should be vetoed, right? I don't know if it should be vetoed. I don't agree with I don't agree with the veto system in general. The only person that should veto in any shape, way, or form is the commissioner. I don't think it should be voted on or anything like that. I'm not a big fan. But no, I don't think it should be vetoed. If they agreed on that trade, it is what it is. Someone told me in my other in a league that they are in, that I just don't understand why I'm not in it, because they're so bad at what they do. That he ended up trading away, I think it was Isaiah Pacheco and someone else, for like a really good player. And I just sat there and I went, you gotta be kidding me. I forgot who it is. But I agree with Ron. I mean, let the men trade. Who cares? It is what it is. So for me, I'm not a big fan. Ron doesn't really like Wentz. That's fine. I do like Wentz. I thought he played well this week. I think he has a good team around him. Why not? So I would go with Wentz if you have anybody. John Smith says, is Hendo worth starting, or should I trust Najee? So if you're asking if you should play Najee over Hendo, I would probably play Hendo. and I would be okay with it. I mean, Najee is coming back from this foot sprain. It clearly is affecting him in the game. He only played half. I'd rather take a guy I know I'd rather take a guy that I know is healthy than a guy that I think that might get hurt later on, regardless of the volume. And we still saw decent volume with Hendo. So I think you should be okay. Atlanta, is serviceable at this point. They held Kamara to a decent game, but that doesn't mean that they can hold, Henderson. I just don't like the line for the Rams. That's my only bugaboo for that. The Rams line is pretty much doo-doo. But they gave him volume, so you can't go against the Hendo and volume. So, Anthony, what up? What up, fellas? How you doing there, Ant? Hope everything's okay. Ant will be back with me on Friday, so don't you guys worry. He will be here as well. So Ron says only collusion should be voted on, nothing less. So I agree with Ronald here. Unless you think it's collusion, but in this case, you shouldn't think it. It should just be let them play, let them do their thing. If they, if you see a CMC for Isaiah Pachenko, that's a different, story. So. I lost Dak also. Do I start Wentz or Fields? Okay. We're going to be doing start sit on Friday. So if you could maybe wait till then, but I'm going to answer your question here. Let me just take a quick look at what I'm picking first. I would probably play Wentz, and it's just because of the matchup going against Detroit. It's in a dome. It's a little bit more, you have a little bit more security there. The Chicago game is going to be played in Green Bay on Sunday night. That's going to be a real test. And, I think Green Bay is going to come, back. They always come back after week 2. Like they always suck week 1 and come back week 2. So I don't know. I would go a little more Wentz, but that's my opinion. But yeah, it is what it is. That's just me. I thought Fields did okay, but I just don't trust him yet. I trust a little more in Wentz, and that's not saying much, to be honest. Jonathan goes, I traded Debo and Damien Harris for Chubb and Bateman. Did I sell running back? Only left was only sell running back. Only left was ETN because I traded Monty for Sutton. I also traded Swift and DJ Moore for Chase and Monty, wide receivers, A-Rob. All right, you got a lot going on there, John. We gotta kind of figure out what you're trying to tell me here. Do I sell running back? Only left was ETN. So you have you traded that. Yeah, you got a lot going on there, big guy. You got to let me know. You got to kind of break it down a little bit. Ron does not like Wentz. That's okay. Don't worry about it. So Jonathan Smith goes, is Pitts worth going for since his buy price should be low now? And how much do you think I need to give up for him? Well, he was given away for, you would have to get him in the 3rd round. Honestly, I am low on Pitts. I'm not a big fan of Pitts. I mean, he's never been a guy that I think is going to finish well. Is he a talented player? Of course, but I do not think in any shape, way, or form he's someone that I want on my team. I pretty much avoided him in all drafts, and I don't want anything to do with him. So I'm the wrong guy to ask. But do I think he's worth buying now? Yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, he's definitely going to be targeted. He definitely has volume. He can only go up. I just don't trust Mariota, even though I think Mariota had a really good week. It's just not something I trust. So for me, yeah, why not? Buy low. What would you need to give up? You'd probably have to give up a mid-range wide receiver, like high-end wide receiver 2, high-end wide receiver, running back 2. So, the second guys on teams you might have to give up, or, if your league does picks, I mean, I'd say, and it's based on the type of league, I'd say if it's a dynasty league, that kind of throws a wrench in there too. But I would do it. Why not? So John says, I traded for Monty weeks ago. Now he is gone. Okay. Let me see if you have. Nope, you don't have anything else. Okay. So Ray goes, tell me your top 10 kickers for the week. Nobody. We'll wait till Sunday to talk about that. But yeah, I kickers had a rough day. Evan goes, I may have made a bad trade, man. Okay. So I did Mike Evans and Dylan and received Dalvin and Tony. I have Najee and Saquon already. Okay. 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. You have Dante Johnson. You have DJ and Palmer at wide receiver. Okay. Kelsey at tight end. Okay. So you were, yeah, I think in a way you kind of, yeah, that was kind of a bad trade on your end. You kind of needed Mike Evans there because now you're kind of, low at wide receiver. So sorry, man, that sucks. I get the trade though. I understand why. But I would have probably kept Evans and Dylan. I mean, top end guys in my opinion. Jonathan goes, I can't believe the Colts drop Rodrigo. I mean, he should have been dropped months ago. It is what it is. So I did my first trade 2 weeks ago where I traded Swift and DJ Moore for Monty. Okay, so Swift, DJ Moore for Monty. Ooh. Oh, Monty and Chase. Okay, so you got both. Okay. Then flip Monty for Chase yesterday because timeshare concerns, then traded Debo. Okay. Lots of trading going on. It's very early. I don't trade early. I wait. I always wait. So he goes, then I traded Debo and Damien Harris for Bateman and Chubb. I have ETN and Chubb currently as my running backs and Jeff Wilson. Okay, that ain't that bad. I think that's not bad. I meant flip Monty for Son. Okay. I don't hate that. I mean, I understand why you would do that. It makes sense. Good that you got Chase out of the deal, if I got that right. Just so much going on there. Jeez. J Media, what's going on? What's up, Mike? I'm keeping Trey Lance for 1 more week. Shh, don't tell Ant. Hey, man, you do what you got to do. Ant is here tonight, as he's just said. It is all good. Ronald says, I would worry about ETN if you were, if you know Doug Peterson. Yeah, unfortunately, he does like Robinson a little more than ETN, and ETN dropped a few balls. So, all right. Now that I got through all that chat, we're going to go and get into some starting starting quarterbacks that you might want to pick up. These are more in your super flex leagues. Unless you really, really want to pick this guy up in 1 QB, but I think there are plenty options. So you think A-Rob still got potential? Yes. If you have A-Rob, don't get rid of him. Like, don't sell him. Don't do anything. Just keep an eye on him. If anything, if you have like I have a situation, I have A-Rob and I have Brandon Cooks. I was thinking of switching them out just for the week. But the matchup's just too good that I can't. So I'm going to stick with Allen Robinson. I think they're going to get him involved. Like I said, guys, this is week 4 of last week was week 4. That's week 4 of the preseason. Do not get rid of anybody. Don't trade anybody. Trading is kind of pointless right now. I wouldn't trade anybody until week 4. Give your player a time. It's 1 week. We got plenty of time. So just take it easy, unless you get an offer you can't refuse, man. That's the only way I would do it. John says, I have Juju, so I'm going to just bench him probably for this week. I like Juju. I think he's going to, he has good volume and he's been, holding his own. So I think he'll be okay. But yeah, there is, like Ron said, there's literally no sample size. Just give it a minute. These are all kind of gut reactions for a lot of people. Just don't take it with a grain of salt. This is week 4 of the preseason, basically. They're all, first time working together. because a lot of people didn't play, a lot of starters didn't play in the preseason, because the way that the preseason is built now, it's basically to evaluate the rookie and not the starter. Like, that's how it is. So, oh, Ant, shut up. I know that you are the big let's trade everyone guy. But he's saying that's the worst advice I ever heard. Classic. I guess we can just take the next 3 weeks off the show. Hey, man. I mean, why not? This is the best time to take advantage of people panicking. I don't disagree. I agree. I think this is definitely a time to, if you see a guy panic, then take advantage. Then that's fine. But don't just trade to trade is kind of where I'm going with that. Oh, you were saying John was saying that he meant to bench A-Rob for Juju. I'd be okay with that. I don't see a reason why you couldn't do that. I think that it's worth a 1 week fill. I just think he's going against Atlanta. Atlanta, let up a lot of points to everybody last week. I just think that you might want to. So, so we got a lot going on in the chat. This is the big time to take advantage of people, Anthony says. Ronald's answering him. He basically is saying, if you can't find the sucker, you're probably it. But you don't sell, you buy, never sell. So yeah, look to buy, don't sell. I agree with that. So, all right, let's get into some quarterbacks. One guy to pick up, and unfortunately, we kind of already talked about him. I don't think he's someone you should really hold on to unless you're in a super flex league, and that's Cooper Rush. He's 3% rostered. I mean, he's going to have the gig for at least another 4 weeks. So at least if you need a stopgap for a couple of weeks, he's not a bad option. I mean, he's able to throw the ball in the NFL. He is currently a starting quarterback. I think he'll be in there for at least 4 or 5 weeks, if not more. I probably think more like 8, but Jerry is telling me otherwise. For me, he's just someone to keep on your bench and use if you need it for bye weeks that are coming up. So worth the stash. I think the next guy is a little bit more. You could probably plug and play if needed. I would probably take Daniel Jones over Cooper Kupp, and Daniel Jones is 20% rostered. Honestly, except for a few mistakes, like I said, Daniel Jones did a decent job. He was 17 for 21 and 188 yards passing, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. And that 1 interception, honestly, was a tip ball. So he also rushed for 25 yards. He had the 1 fumble and it was recovered, so he didn't lose it. But it is what it is. Yes, I know he is a risk. I understand those things, but I think he looked pretty decent. You can definitely use him as a low end QB2. Even in Superflex, I think he's value. If you just lost Dak, I think he's a decent option. I don't know how I feel about that there, Ron. Ron says, if you have Dak, it's good to have Rush. I don't think so. I wouldn't take Rush over a guy like Daniel Jones. I think Cooper Rush is kind of a downgrade. I put Rush in there just because he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. Like, it's kind of like grabbing, Jacoby Brissett and you kind of just have him on your bench. Like, he's nothing in my opinion. So Ray goes, if you're in a super flex, you probably have a better receiver or running back than Cooper Rush. Oh, I completely agree. He's just a guy I add. I looked at rosters to try to find, a quarterback, and he was the first, one of the first that I saw that was like, he's a full-time quarterback for at least the next, 6 weeks. So it is what it is. Braun said, otherwise I'd probably roll with Trubisky. I agree. Trubisky's not bad. So, hey, it's Christian. What's going on, Christian? I hope everything's good, man. Miss you over here. You're wild if you get Rush over DJ. Yeah. Hey, man, I rather have DJ. Just my own thing. Yeah, another guy, Geno. I mean, Geno looked good. Real good. Compared to what I thought he would look. But Geno looked good. I would definitely play Geno over Rush in a lot of situations. So, yeah, I'm down with that. I'm definitely down with that. So let's move on to the running back. Running backs that I found a few that are that passed through waivers, and I'm kind of surprised. One of them is Rex Burkhead. I mean, geez, guys, what else do we need here? I mean, this guy, this guy led the Houston backfield over Damien Pierce. I understand that it could change in the next few weeks, and maybe there's a maybe a good reason that it might happen. But he had 14 carries for 40 yards and 5 targets for 4 receptions and 30. So he didn't have a horrible PPR stat line, and he's still available, which I think is ridiculous. Um, you know, I'm looking up his particular snap count because I definitely think he outsnapped him 50-20, Damien Pierce. So, and he was the main guy. I don't hate Rex Burkhead here. They're going against Denver this week. Denver just lost Justin Simmons, who's a big part of that run defense. Might be a grab. It is, definitely someone that you could probably keep on your bench and see what happens moving forward and hopefully play him in a better matchup. One guy at 40%, right on the number, is Mark Ingram. I don't know how Mark Ingram is still available if you're not the Kamara owner. Kamara is currently dealing with a rib injury and didn't practice on Wednesday. I know it's a vet rest day. It is what it is, but it is still something to be concerned about. Rib injuries can last and linger for months, so it's definitely something to be aware of. And you got to understand also the transactions that happened on like Monday, Tuesday. I mean, I think it was Tuesday. Latavius Murray was signed to their practice squad, so I think that means that there might be a situation where you might be using Mark Ingram here, just because I just the tarot cards are just speaking to me, and they're just saying, I mean, doesn't look good. Now, I might not play him this week. They're playing the Bucks. Like, let's just get that clear. I wouldn't play him this week, but I would definitely keep him rostered. It's definitely something that I would really rather have in a lot of situations. So he's a solid passing down back, and he can still run the ball. I would take him. I don't think they're going to give too many things to Latavius Murray. So Jay Media says I own Kamara on 1/3 of my teams. Fuck my life. Saints just signed Murray too. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think that at the end of the week, you're going to hear that he's going to be out for this week and maybe the next week. So just be aware of that. Christian going, definitely like Burkhead. Yeah, I really like him. If you're in a league that you need somebody, let's just say you missed out on Jeff Wilson. He's definitely not a horrible at least for the next few weeks. But yeah. Can't get over Murray. Yeah. You can't get over Murray. I get it. Next on my list is Dontrell Hilliard. Scored 2 TDs against the Giants. He's 29% rostered. I mean, this is more for the embarrassed Henry owner. I mean, if you need a decent handcuff, grab him. He was seen. Yeah, he was definitely in on passing downs. He was quite effective with his 2 TDs. I know he didn't really touch the ball that often, and that's a normal, situation there in Tennessee. I mean, normally Henry always carries the load. I mean, Henry saw 44 snaps to Dontrell Hilliard's 12. So I can understand the skepticism and why you wouldn't want him, but honestly, he's a good handcuff. And they're going to be, there's going to be situations that are going to be a negative game script. So if you find that game where he's in a negative game script where this Monday night they're facing Buffalo, might want to use him because he was in there. I saw him in there. It felt like more times than 12, in my opinion, because they were down in the second half, and I saw him everywhere watching that Giants game. So. All right, moving on to wide receivers. Now, as I said in the beginning of the show, there is a couple of guys on here, but this is the one guy that is over my 43% threshold, and that is Robbie Anderson. If you don't have Robbie Anderson on your team right now, I'm kind of shocked. You should. If you have a spot, why not? Grab him. If you have some other guy that literally did nothing yet, on week 1, he should be someone that is rostered. And I'll tell you why. So, like I said, this is the one exception to my rule just because, I'm just shocked to see that he's available. He's owned in 43% of leagues, which boggles my mind. He was 5 of 8 for 102 and a touchdown. Let me see. Ronald said, I don't have to draft him everywhere. What? Explain yourself, because I don't understand that. But yeah, I mean, he was 8, like I said, he was 5 for 8 targets, 102 yards, and a touchdown against the Browns. This week, he's going against my Giants. And for those who don't know, they're going to be short at corner because their second cornerback, Robinson, is currently out because he had his appendix removed. So I see them taking advantage of their second, the second corner position in this case. And, Robbie could definitely see a high target volume and a decent game. Him and DJ Moore tied in snaps as well. So I think he's a good ad. If he's available in your league, why not? I think he's a great pick. Ronald said he was my 6th rounder last year, and I got as my last pick in all my drafts. I don't have to pick him up. I drafted him. Oh, okay. Perfect. It was such an obvious value pick. J Media says I dropped Robert Woods for Robbie. Perfect. He's the guy that you should. I think Robert, good old Bobby Trees, as much as he was, did well, just don't see it. It's going to be hard with that with Tannehill. I thought Kyle Phillips did pretty well. And if you don't have, I understand why people don't have Kyle Phillips, even though he had like 9 targets. He's definitely a player to keep an eye on. I told everybody this in the middle of best ball season. Kyle Phillips is a baller, bro. He was a first round draft pick 2 years ago, sat out 2 years to do other things, stupidity, and came back and was drafted late. I mean, this kid he's actually pretty good. So keep an eye on that kid if you haven't. Next guy I'm going to bring up is 12% owned, and that is Corey Davis. So I get it. I understand right now Corey Davis is kind of low on the list. I mean, Corey Davis was second in snaps behind Elijah Moore. So he's clearly the number 2. He's not the number 1. Understood. But Davis had 7 for 9 targets. 9 targets in that particular amount of time is great. And against Baltimore, got 77 yards. I mean, it's good considering the offense. And honestly, Joe Flacco is kind of like, key term here, kind of like Aaron Rodgers in the way that he likes to go with the experienced receiver. And he's very good at finding the open guy. I don't think Corey Davis is a horrible ad. He's just someone you would put on your bench. I don't think he's anyone that you're playing. Another guy that I thought about was Paris Campbell. He's 11% rostered, which I understand the skepticism because of injury, but he survived week 1. He's still there. So there was news today that Alex Pierce is now in the concussion protocol. So that just takes one person away. And, Paris Campbell is clearly the number 2. He was out there on 71% of the snaps or 71 snaps compared to Michael Pittman, who was in there for, I think, about 90. So he's definitely one of the receivers that's going to be out there on the field. He put up mediocre stats with 4 for 3 and 37 yards. I think that's going to increase against Jacksonville. Better opponent, better situation. I think he'll be fine. Opposite of playing, the opposite scenario is Zay Jones. He's only 14% rostered. 14. He was he had 6 receptions on 9 targets for 65 yards. I mean, I don't understand why he's not rostered a little bit more, especially in PPR leagues. He had good chemistry with Lance. I thought Lance looked, or not Lance, Trevor Lawrence. I thought he looked great. I thought, Trevor Lawrence looked okay against, Washington. That's a great target share considering that, Christian Kirk had 12 targets, with 6 receptions for a great day. He was only in on 58 plays, and that was second in wide receiver. I mean, that's second to Marvin Jones, who I like Marvin Jones a lot, but Zay Jones got a little bit more run. Definitely worth a bench ad. You never know. Another guy, I know this is going to hurt my soul, and it's okay. Noah Brown. Now, if you don't know who Noah Brown is, he's the second receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. He's 3% rostered right now. And you're asking, why would you pick that guy? Well, he didn't have the best game. He was, he had 9 targets, 5 catches for 68 yards. I mean, that's not a horrible stat line. He was second in snaps. I honestly don't mind him. He's been the second healthiest receiver in camp. He's been there through camp, knows the offense. He's a decent sized dude. I mean, he's 6'2", 225. He's that, I like guys a little bit bigger, but he's right there on that prototypical size. I think he could be a decent play if you're short at wide receiver, and you're waiting for Tolbert or, Gallup to come back. I mean, honestly, I don't see Gallup coming back this week, even though he was limited in practice. Tolbert might be a healthy scratch again. They just don't trust him. But Noah Brown has been consistent. So if you're looking for an ad real quick, why not? I think he's definitely worth an ad. All right, let's move on to tight end. These are 3 oldies but goodies, so I'm happy to talk about these guys today. One is Logan Thomas. I'm very surprised he was sitting on waivers, or he was sitting on the free agent list after waivers ran. I'm like, huh? 13% owned in leagues. I mean, he was 6 for 3, or he was 6 targets, 3 catches for 45 yards. I mean, he's returning from an ACL tear. He's eased in. They're not throwing him all the way back in. I mean, let me just take a quick look at his snap share. I mean, he was definitely in for the most for the tight ends. He was 48 over John Bates for 44 or 42. So honestly, I mean, as a tight end goes, I don't mind him at all. I think if you're short at tight end and you need a little bit of help, maybe Kittle's out. And let me take a quick look here. I think does San Francisco play at 4? Oh, they do. San Francisco plays at 4, and you don't want to have to worry about playing anybody after 4, and you just want to grab a guy. They're playing Detroit. Not a bad ad if you're looking to grab a tight end real quick, off of waivers. He's someone that I would look for. If you're looking for a guy at the 4 o'clock window, and you're in that Kittle situation of trying to know if he's going to play or not, one guy I would think about if he's available is Hayden Hurst. I mean, rostered in 25% of leagues. He had 8 targets, 5 catches for 48 yards, kind of similar to good old Logan Thomas, but he's not recovering from an ACL tear. He could be a nice ad if you have, that, like I said, that 4 o'clock issue. And in this case, you have George Kittle right now with that issue. Also, remember, Higgins needs to get through concussion protocol. Now, right now, he's going through concussion protocol, and there's no big, issue at this point, but he could get a big target share if he's not there. So, going against Dallas, why not? I think he's a good choice if you need someone in that 4 o'clock window. Another guy, if you want in the 4 o'clock window, this is more of a dart throw, though. It's our good friend, Will Dissly. Yeah, I said it. Will Dissly. 2% owned in leagues. Yeah, I understand. I get it. I would be skeptical too. But you know what? He played more snaps than Noah Fant. He led Seattle with 37 snaps and was 3 for 3 for a big touchdown and 43 yards. That's not too shabby against the Denver Broncos, who I thought were going to be a better defense, honestly. But honestly, that if you're looking for, two tight ends in that 4 o'clock window, those are two guys that I'm really looking for. I think they could be, decent ads at the tight end position if you're really, if you kind of whiff on the other guys. All righty. We're moving right along. We're going to go to the defense. Some defensive guys that you might want to pick. And here are two. One is kind of, right there. And that's the Bengals. I mean, they're going against the Dakless Cowboys. I know I just talked about Cooper Rush and said, hey, pick him up. I didn't say to play him. I just said to pick him up. Just someone to have on your bench. Just if you needed that third quarterback to make you feel all warm and cozy. I mean, I would definitely be playing the Cincinnati Bengals against the Cowboys. They are not available in my league. But I don't think I have to really put too much analysis in here. So this one might be an unpopular, this next one. And that's okay. I'm here to give you guys some, fun ones that you can go with. This one is a little bit unpopular, maybe. We'll see. But I got to watch a lot of that Monday night game. And you know what? Seattle looked good. They looked really, really good against, the Denver Broncos. I mean, they're facing the Niners this week. They held Russell and Denver to 16 points. Let's just be clear. Everyone was on board with this Broncos team, putting up 35 a week. And they held them to 16 points at home. Now, yeah, I get it. They're going to be going to San Francisco. It's not like, you have the 12th man helping you out here. Understood. That's fine. But they're going against a green, just beaten Trey Lance that got destroyed in Chicago in the wet weather up there. I mean, yeah, they're coming home. Yeah, it's going to be a different atmosphere, so on and so forth. But Seattle forced 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. They held the Broncos to 16 points. I mean, just saying, if all these other guys are gone, why not? I think that's a great pick. Definitely a DFS play if you're looking to play one. I know I'm going to be, because I think that's a really sneaky pick. They definitely defied the odds in that particular game. It might have been a little bit of everything, of the coaching and this, that, the other thing. But end of the day, they still had a really good game. Seattle. All right. So if you guys still have questions, don't be shy. Leave them in the chat. I'm going to go and just break down the Thursday night game real quick that we have going on tomorrow night. We got the Los Angeles Chargers going against the Kansas City Chiefs at Kansas City. The Chiefs are favored by 4. And the over-under is 54 points. Jeez. I mean, I'm not shocked. I mean, everyone thought these AFC West games are going to be crazy, but damn. And especially with no Keenan Allen. Chiefs don't have their star kicker, Harrison Butker. I mean, those are two people that we know that are automatically out. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Yeah, I did it. Yeah. Nice try there, Ronald. So right now, just from last game, the Chiefs held Arizona to 21 points, while the Chargers held the Raiders to 19. Mahomes and Herbert, they both had great games last week, and they're definitely going to look to continue that this week, against each other. I really do think this is going to be an awesome game to watch. I'm very interested to see. Looking at all the options in this one, I mean, the line is 54. I mean, you're definitely playing everybody involved. I'm definitely firing up Mike Williams and feeling confident. Gerald Everett, if you can, if you have him. The number 2 option for them this week is Joshua Palmer. And I know that we just talked about Joshua Palmer in the beginning of the show. I think he's a great grab if you need a little, if he's available in your league, why not? Why not? I mean, I wouldn't play him. I'd definitely keep him on your bench, but he's definitely up there. I mean, this team knows how to spread the ball around. There's another guy, DeAndre Carter. He's another guy that's involved. I don't know how I feel about him yet. That's why I didn't bring him up. Oh my God. Look who it is. Drew Lario. What's up, brother? Your long lost cousin, Patrick, misses you. I have to tell you that. He told me I got to see him on Sunday. He was like, "Where's my long lost cousin?" So Drew goes, "What's up, Mike? It's been a while." Licking my chops, says Mike Williams, the owner. I don't blame you, brother. I mean, that is a good matchup against Kansas City. So hopefully, he does well. He's a big Giants fan as well. Also G-Men are back. Yeah. All right. So Extreme Kane, what's going on, Extreme? How you doing, man? So can I send you my team and you can help me find targets, or what should I do? Okay. I mean, my Twitter handle is right here. So if you there we are. You can DM me if you like. I can, try to see what I can do for you, see what we can work out. At during my time, I do work on top of this. So don't be upset if I don't get back to you right away. But yeah, definitely can reach out. If this is actually a great segue for you as well. If you don't already have Sleeper, boom, join Sleeper and join our Sleeper channel. So you won't get just my advice. You will get it from everybody in the community. In the description below, we have our wonderful community. Our Get Right community is just filled with a bunch of people that are here. All these guys in the chat that I have right here, all these guys are just incredibly helpful and more than willing to help as much as I am. And they can definitely help you get everything that you need. Awesome. I don't know if I got it yet. It's okay. We can still talk about it at another point. But like I said, definitely something that, make sure you guys go to the Sleeper channel. If you don't have Sleeper already, just get in there. My Sleeper handle's the exact same. Just I have underscores in between each, classic Mike and GRFN. So make sure you guys use that if you haven't already. It is great community. It is a great community. So please make sure you guys check that out if you haven't already. Also, just need to do my quick little thing real quick. Hold on one second. Make sure you guys check out Underdog Fantasy, and right up there, make sure you guys use promo code right here. When you use the promo code Get Right, you will get 100% of what you put in on your first deposit. So make sure you guys do that. Look who it is, Martin. I'm in, mother trucker. What up, Martin? Hope everything's going okay, man. Had a decent day with my good old Roquan and Jeremy Chin, so did fine. I'm just gonna ride the wave for now. I thought everything worked out. But yeah. So make sure you guys check out those things. Do not forget to like and subscribe to the show, because like I said, when we get to 600, we're going to be giving away a Gabe Davis jersey, a signed Gabe Davis jersey. It's sitting right next to me. It's like right over well, you guys can't see me, but it's sitting right over on my desk right over here. I'm excited. I want to give this thing away, but we need to get to 600 subscribers. So please tell your friend, tell your buddy, do whatever you can and get them in here. We definitely would love the support. F yeah, told you. Yeah, I know you did. That's why I love you. And then we got Ronald in here going, I was all about Chin preseason. One of my IDP value picks. Yeah, man, I love it. Extreme Kane, what's going on, man? He goes, who do I flex? Choose two. Okay. Mostert, Moss, Kenyon Drake, Tony, Warren, or Wilson. And in this case, it's Cedric Wilson. Interesting. did you go 0 RB? I have to ask. So if you had to choose, I guess Kenyon Drake and Moss. I think that's where I'd have to go there is Kenyon Drake and Moss. It that's a really tough one. And the only reason why I'm saying maybe J.K. Dobbins was in practice today. I'm a little bit concerned that he might show up. See, I don't know, man. Tell me why not Moss, because he definitely got goal line carries and he definitely got PPR work. Like he was definitely catching the ball out of the backfield. So I don't see why not. The only, you know what? I'm going to change that up. I'm going to go Tony and let me see. Tony and let me see what Mostert did. I'm kind of curious here. I didn't really pay attention to Mostert. I was kind of hoping that he just covered his line on his player prop. That's the only thing that I cared about with Mostert, just because there was a lot of passing going on in Miami. He was 5 for 16, 1 catch for 16 yards. I don't think I would play him. Okay, so you have Elijah Mitchell and Jeff Wilson. Okay. This is a tough one, man. This is a really tough one. I mean, I don't think I'd play Warren. I don't think I'd play Cedric Wilson. I mean, Cedric Wilson got 2 for 20. That's really nothing. Okay, so he said no. I took Swift in the first round. Okay, so you have Swift, Elijah Mitchell, in this case, Jeff Wilson. So you have Swift, Wilson, and then you need a good flex option here. I mean, oof. Yeah, I might have to go Moss just because, even though it's not the best pick, I might have to go with Moss. And I don't feel comfortable saying it either. So, but I think you'll be fine with Jeff Wilson. I think Tony's going to see an uptick, honestly, this week. I don't think he's going to, I mean, they only had him in for like 2 plays. But I definitely see an uptick in Tony. So I feel a little bit more, I feel a little more confident with Tony this week. I'm just trying to think. Kenyon Drake scares me with J.D. McKissick coming back. Might come back this week. So that's a tough one. Drew Lario, what's up, man? He goes Rashad Penny, Travis Etienne, or Jeff Wilson as my running back 2. Running back 1 is Swift. So, I mean, Jeff Wilson sounds like the answer, but I mean, Penny got plenty of usage against Denver. I mean, he ran pretty well considering. I mean, he's healthy. That's a good thing. You know, he saw 38 snaps compared to everyone else on the team that got 19 or 3. You know, Jeff Wilson saw 40% of the snaps after Elijah Mitchell got hurt, but he only saw like, I mean, he was the only one that got the ball after that other than Juszczyk. So, and then Travis Etienne, we know what's going on in that scenario with James Robinson, so I understand the dilemma there. I think I would go Jeff Wilson just because they're going to probably, I think the usage is going to be there. So, yeah, I think that's what I would go. He explained that. He's telling me Tony sucked. Extreme Kane goes, it's 22 people in this league. Okay, that makes a little more sense. Martin says Drake and Mostert might be your best play. I'm not against that. I just don't know how I feel about Mostert. He didn't really do much. So it is what it is. Yeah, as Ronald said, definitely play Jeff Wilson, of course, if you're going to play anybody. It's full PPR for Drew. So if it's full PPR, I'd probably go Travis Etienne. right? Yeah. I might go Travis Etienne. He just has a higher a higher floor in that case. Extreme Kane goes, do I drop Elijah Mitchell because I already have D-Hop and this is a 22-person league? I don't know if you can drop him, but I mean, who is available that you would get now that could give you what Elijah Mitchell could get when he comes back? That's the hard part. Martin says Tony should get more. I think he was precautionary thing for injury. I do too. I think he just needs to be eased in. Martin says ETN, but I would be worried about him. Yeah, I agree. I would do. I'm playing ETN and I don't feel comfortable doing it. And I have James Robinson, so I'm trying to figure out who to do. Martin was like, "Oh, Wilson, yeah. Wilson has proven he can put it up." Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Drew saying that the league sounds miserable. Extreme Kane says DeAndre Carter. So if you were to drop Elijah Mitchell, you could get DeAndre Carter. I mean, if you don't have an IR spot, I mean, I don't know if I would do that. Like, that's where I feel uncomfortable. It's just a really uncomfortable 20. I've never done a 22-man league. I'm just gonna put it out there. But picking up DeAndre Carter for Mitchell and you have Wilson, that might have to be your play if you need somebody that's gonna start. And Carter could get you more points than who you currently have on your bench. So yeah, maybe I'd do it. Let someone else, deal with the San Francisco backfield after the fact. So Neanderthal, what's going on, brother? How do you feel about Zeke with Dak out? Honestly, I don't like anyone in the Cowboys except for Dalton Schultz. I don't like the line. I like the usage and the volume, but I don't like the line. Zach Martin can't block everyone on the line, and I think they're not opening the holes that they need to. I think that they're outmatched in more ways than you can imagine. This week, they're going against the Cincinnati Bengals, who aren't the best, but it doesn't mean that they can't get through the holes. I just don't like their, scenario. I would only take Dalton Schultz, and that's about it. Martin disagrees with what I had to say. He said, I wouldn't drop Mitchell. He'll come back, my guy. Yeah, he will, but if you need someone now, why not? So Drew says, follow up. Penny, Wilson, A-Rob for my flat. Wait. Let's try this again. Penny, Wilson, or A-Rob for my flex. Okay. Full PPR. It's so hard to trust A-Rob. I want to. I have him. I'm ready to use him. I'm ready for him to be good. I might have to go Wilson there. He'll be used in both scenarios. I mean, they're going to probably try to figure out which rookie they want to put behind him, but it's probably going to be Mason. But I think that I think Wilson will do plenty. I think I'm going to stick with Wilson. I think Travis Homer is more the PPR option in Seattle. So Che Ambrose, what's going on, Che? Hope everything's going well. He says, full PPR. Should I drop Cole Kmet for Gerald Everett or Tyler Higbee? My gut says don't trust Justin Fields pass catchers. All right. So we said this in the beginning. I'm going to say it again. Don't freak out too much about things, and especially in that Chicago San Francisco game. It was wet. It was gross. No one got the volume that they normally would have. We saw in preseason how much that Cole Kmet could be used. The only guy that I might is for Gerald Everett. I did see a good amount of usage. So if you're going to do it, maybe Cole Kmet, but I would really, honestly, don't freak out too quick. But I agree with you. I'm not a big fan of Justin Fields, so I might want to, attach my tight end to a better quarterback, in this case, Justin Herbert. So that's just me. Ronald says, if you don't have an IR in a 22-man league, you really can't keep people. I agree. It is what it is. So he has okay. So you have one IR spot. Okay. So should I drop Drake then or or Warren for Carter? I would drop Drake for Carter if you're going to do it that way. That's just my own opinion. So, Che Ambrose on Madden 23, Kirk Cousins is rated 99 at getting COVID. Ronald goes, but even if Mitchell comes back, zero confidence. He just retakes the job. There is 1,000 running backs in there. Homer has never put him on your. Homer is a new is an. I'm sorry. Homer is never put him on your team option. Yeah, I understand what Ron's trying to say. Honestly, I didn't trust Mitchell in the beginning. I didn't draft him anywhere. I don't think Mitchell is someone that you can trust. He's had a big injury history, as we can see. So for me, I just wasn't really on board with him. I was very much against him in drafting him in general. So for me, I picked up Jeff Wilson in one of my leagues. I'm confident in using him. I'm only having him on the bench. Oh, you're saying don't pick Homer. No. I wasn't saying to pick Homer. I was saying the concept that Rashad Penny has Homer as the pass catcher compared to Penny, who can catch, he can catch passes, but it seems like Homer comes in on the passing downs and takes that work. I'm just saying he has that second, running back by committee type guy. That's what I meant by Penny. I think that Wilson should be fine on his own, and he'll get the volume. I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't. And Trey Lance can only open up things for him in the RPO type game. So hopefully it's not raining cats and dogs like it was there in San Francisco this weekend. Hopefully it's a nice day, beautiful stuff. We can have a better baseline for Trey Lance. I had one guy say that Trey's floor is, a really good indication of what's to come and has him ranked at, QB7 to finish the year. I'm like, I mean, I had him at 10, I had him at 9 or 10. So I understand being high on him a little bit, but I just can't. Like, I can't get behind it and this wasn't the game to kind of see if Trey Lance was who we thought he was. I mean, this game was sloppy. It was gross. I mean, I went to go pick 'em lines before the game and pick all the receiving unders, like lower than whatever the receiving number was. And I automatically got denied to be able to put in for those because they were like, oh, it's going to be that bad. Nope. Cancel. So they wouldn't let me do it. I did end up winning $200 with Underdog for the Monday night game. I ended up, they put in ridiculous stat lines, 2.5 receptions, higher or lower for Javonte, and then 1.5 no, it was 1.5 for Javonte and 2.5 for Melvin Gordon. I'm like, over, and I lucked out on what I picked, and they were like 2 receptions. I think it was 1 reception, 1.5 receptions for Noah Fant. I'm like, over. Like, come on, Underdog. Like, thank you, appreciate the money, but at the end of the day, like, come on, get those stats. So Martin says, yeah, I myself said I'm not considering any stats for San Francisco or the Chicago guys. That game was survival mode. Oh, I completely agree. That showed nobody anything. The only thing that it showed is that the Chicago Bears did better and won. Like, that's about it. Like, we don't, Justin Fields can run the ball, threw the ball a little bit over to Dante Pettis. Dante Pettis did a couple of things and got a touchdown. Like, woohoo! Like, finally, you did what you were supposed to. But at the end of the day, I don't use that game that game can't be used for statistical purposes. I mean, people were going to use it, but I don't think they should. Drew goes, I have a lot of money on Kelsey over for 75.5 receiving yards for tomorrow. Okay, fair. He does well, really well on primetime. So I understand that. Ronald goes, and even if it was beautiful out, you can't make decisions based on week one. Oh, completely agree. Week one is always an outlier. Always. I completely agree. And like I already said 5 times, it's week 4 of the preseason. The way that the way that the system is set up now, that is week 4 of the preseason. So you can't hold anything that anyone did or anything like that. Just keep your roster or at least adjust your roster to kind of fit a better scenario. And if like you had a guy that clearly isn't being used, then get rid of him. But Martin goes, although Deanne Robinson surprised me. Okay. I didn't get to watch too much of that game, so I don't really know too much about the ending in that game. Let me take a quick peek at what Martin's talking about. Didn't get to see, Red Zone only shows you so much in those particular games, so you're not really aware of everything going on. Robinson plays for, oh, okay. 5 solo, 1.5 sack for 8-yard loss. That's not too bad. Good stat line. Ronald goes, 3 weeks is a sample. Even 2 isn't. Yeah, I agree. I don't think we're going to get a good sample size until we're in week 4. That's just a really good, where it should be. Ooh, Frank coming in here going, I disagree, Mike. What any rain game we should. Wait. So wait, how are you disagreeing? Hold on. So what any rain game we should just ignore? That doesn't sound right to me. Did it suck? Yes, but that will not be the only bad weather game. So you have to count it even statistically. Oh, no. Okay, Frank. Completely agree. But my whole thing is, as of right now, if you're looking to kind of judge who you should pick up, drop, try to figure out who to like, just the general guys that really didn't do anything. I mean, Darnell Mooney didn't do anything. Cole Kmet didn't do anything. David Montgomery didn't do anything. Like, Justin Fields did okay, but at the end of the day, he didn't really do much. Trey Lance didn't do much. Debo had a game. Like, Debo did well. So you have to sit here and go, what are you going to do with these guys that didn't do anything? And at the end of the day, you're going to sit there and go, well, do I keep him or not? And then you go, that game was horrible. So you have to kind of give it that variable that that it was, and go, oh, they didn't throw it. So makes sense that Kmet had almost no catches. I wouldn't think that that's going to be the normal going forward. So in my eyes, yeah, you're going to count it at the end of the year. You have to. But at the end of the day, for this week going on to next week, no, I don't. There's no counting it. There's no reason to count it because honestly, it doesn't show what the team does as a everyday trend. Like Ronald said, we will know by next week. Or no, sorry, we will know by week 4 that like what teams do and how they handle their offense. So Fabian, what's going on, Fabian? He goes, Trey Lance, QB1, rest of season. Not for me. I think he's going to be right at that. I mean, if you think QB12 is running, is a quarterback 1, then maybe. His rushing floor alone is going to keep him at a decent, finish the week at, a decent pace. Honestly, in my opinion, he's a high-end QB2 with a mid-level QB1 floor. Ceiling, maybe a top like week here and there, and that's against really, really bad opponents. But that's me. I don't think he's going to be as consistent as people think he might be. I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of Trey Lance. I don't see what other people do. So Ronald goes, 10, 12, end of year at best. Yeah, that's what I would say. Frank goes, I get what you're saying, but playing in bad weather is part of football. Heck, the Super Bowl was played in snow. What we learned is he sucks in the rain. Brady kills it in the rain. No, I understood, and yes, I get that football is, it's an outdoor sport. Bad weather is a whole part of it. Completely agree. Completely agree. But the thing is that it happened at the worst week. Like, I wouldn't be saying this if it happened in week 5, and then we were kind of trying to figure out what we should do with Lancer, Komet and Darnell Mooney and stuff like that. It happened in week 1. It just that's where my issue is it happened in the 1 week where we were trying to figure out what to do. Everywhere else we can figure out what to do. Like the Rams just hold out on A-Rob, don't play Cam Akers. We kind of saw how that went. We saw little trends of everybody. We saw that Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, and Jamar Chase are just elite. Things like that. We got to see. And, that's where it just happened in the worst week. And to me, you can't take that week into the rest of the season. That's all I'm trying to say. I just don't like it. I just hate that it happened. So Frank goes, what if it happens again next week and then the week after? Yeah, then we're going to just have to say that he sucks at playing outdoors and you can't play him. Thankfully, they're playing in San Francisco, who tends to have decent weather, even though they do have the occasional rain. It's what? Let's see. They are week 3. Where are they at? Week 3, they are at Denver. So, yeah, it could be another crap game there. And then week 4, where are they at? Week 4, they're going to be in San Francisco again. Hopefully another good game. So for the next 5 weeks, or 4 weeks in this case, after last week. So let me see one more. Oh, I guess they have a bye week in week 5. No, here they are, Carolina. So they have the potential of playing crap games for the next 5 weeks. We clearly saw what he did in this one, and he didn't do well. So either way, I don't like his stats, but it's one of those things where you have to kind of play it by ear, of course. So, yeah, he could have 3 in a row that are crap, but then you can kind of get a better pattern than you could with after only 1 week and what was it, 40 passing during the season. So, or 400 passing yard, or I forgot the number, 400 attempts or something like that last year or the year before that, or in the NFL in general. So the guy hasn't played, 80 snaps, I think it was. Anyway, Fabian goes, Wentz for Dak. Yeah, I would play Wentz for Dak. I think Dak should be on your IR or on your bench until he's labeled as out to put on your IR. But I definitely think Wentz is a better play than Dak. If you're looking for season long, yeah, I think that you can trust that for now. They're both kind of right next to each other in my rankings in a lot of ways. Ronald says only if you have to. I agree. Wentz is just a really good, filler for the time being. I think he's probably one of the best options if he's out there. They're going against, who are they going against this week? Remember looking at they're going against Detroit. Yeah. Go Wentz. So, I do like Detroit. I've really, been pushing them all year. I think they're going to, I think they're a great team, but they are still a little weak. And yeah, so. So Fabian's asking, will Keenan Allen be back week 3? I'm assuming that's who you meant by Allen. I don't think so. He definitely has a little bit longer to heal, which is a good thing. I do think he will be back probably closer to week 4. Just as that's just my own opinion. I'm not a doctor. I'm not, anybody that knows anything about that. Just knowing how, they're kind of treating the scenario. And to be honest, he's one of their best receivers. They definitely need to kind of ease him back. They might take him a second. They do have a lot of talent around him. So he's definitely one of those guys that I think they might wait on. So I don't think week 3. I do think maybe week 4. But he, I could be wrong, but it's better than thinking that he'll be back next week and, doesn't come back till week 4. So I rather aim a week ahead. It's kind of like telling your wife that you'll be home at 6:00 and or no, it's kind of like, that you'll be home at 6:00 and you show up at 5. Same concept. Ronald goes, wait a minute. Just wait 1 minute. You are not a doctor? No. No, I worked with mentally disabled adults for many, many years as a house manager. Worked alongside of a lot of nurses, and I'm also currently engaged to one. So I I know my way around some health questions and health concerns, and I also been playing fantasy football for playing fantasy football for 15 years. I got to the point where if I see a hamstring injury, I know he's out for 4 weeks. So, it's just how things go. So Lance Fabian goes Lance and Higgins for Action Jackson. Who is Action Jackson? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Who is Action Jackson? I'm trying to think of his nickname because I know that that's what you're trying to throw here is a nickname. And who's the nickname? I don't know any Jacksons. Oh, Lamar. Whew. Yeah, I might do that. I agree with Ronald here. Action Jackson is Lamar, huh? Lance and Higgins for Lamar. Okay. I mean, I'd only do it if I know my wide receiver core is pretty stout. I mean, if someone's willing to pull the trigger on that and give you, Lamar for Jackson or Lamar for Lance and Higgins, yeah, I'd do it. I'm not a fan of either or. Like the only guy I'm happy with in any of that is Trey Lance. I'm not a big Lamar fan. He doesn't have Ronnie Stanley back. They definitely, I mean, they played well overall, but you definitely take Lamar. Mike Williams, Waddle, and Higgins. Ooh, is this a 2 wide receiver format? And if so, either way, I still probably jump on that and take it. Yeah. Yeah. Martin saying take Lamar now. They should give you whoever they want to drop though. Yeah, I think that's a good option too. I definitely think that you should definitely get who they're looking to drop. Why not? That's a good way to kind of get past the whole waiver. Martin says, don't let them think any longer. Take it now. Nice. Yeah, I agree. I think maybe you should get something in return. But even if you don't and they don't want to, just hit accept. Like that's worth it. So Warrior Loft, what's going on, Warrior? He's asking start Hunt versus the Jets or Dillon versus the Bears. We're going to be doing start sits on Friday, but just for you because we're going to be wrapping this up right now. Start Hunt or Dillon. Honestly, both are great. So you can't go wrong. I think the better matchup is definitely the Jets. So that would be Hunt. I do like Dillon a lot. If you look at the statistics and look at everything involved in Green Bay, I mean, I'm going to just give you the snap share here. I mean, A.J. Dillon did okay with 31 snaps compared to Aaron Jones's, 37. And in Cleveland, Kareem Hunt got 45 to 42. So I think I'm going to take Hunt here. So, yeah, I would go with Hunt. No problem, man. Yeah, Ronald's saying Dillon just because the Packers own the Bears, but he's definitely fine with either. Just looking at general stats, I mean, Kareem Hunt 45 snaps compared to Nick Chubb's 42. I like Nick Chubb a lot. but I think Hunt did a pretty good job. It's probably PPR or at least half. Dylan is Dylan would be my if it's a standard league, if it's a PPR league in any format, 0.5 or whatever, I'd still take Hunt, even though Dylan's pretty good in the past as well. But I definitely like Hunt because it's a better matchup. They're definitely going to beat up on the Bears too. I think the Bears, they held their own against San Francisco in crap, but yeah, Martin says, love Dylan. He's my favorite since he came back in. Yeah, I like Sauce too, man. Like, he is definitely somebody that I like. I love the size. I love just his intensity. But yeah, Warrior, I agree. Warrior says, I feel that the Browns run the ball more. Rodgers sometimes likes to throw. He might throw more if Lazard's back. Yeah, I wouldn't read too much into it, but I definitely like Kareem Hunt a little bit more. Ronald says, true. If it's PPR, I'd definitely take Hunt. I agree. So Fabian goes, rate this team: Wentz, Debo, DJ Moore, Najee Harris, Joe Mixon, Mark Andrews, Scary Terry, Brandon McManus, and good old Pittsburgh D. I like it. I like the team. I'm a little lower on Mixon than not Mixon. Najee. I'm very high on Mixon. I think Wentz is fine. Really do. I do think it's a good team. Wentz is definitely as Ronald said, an injury risk. But I do like the team. I like Debo. Not a big DJ Moore fan. So I like bits and pieces of this team. I do like Scary Terry. I think he can do well with Wentz. So I understand why you have the both of them. But yeah, I like that team. I don't hate it. There's that. I just don't like certain parts of it. But I like it. Warrior says, thanks, guys. No problem, man. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you guys out. Make sure you guys check out the show on Friday. It will be me and Ant. We're going to do some full game breakdowns on top of start sit questions as well. Like I said, we're going to run through 3 or 4 games, and then we're going to ask, if you guys have any start sit questions and go from there. We're trying to keep that show down to at least 2 hours compared to the last, year where we had 4. So we definitely want to keep that short. We're going to be wrapping this one up soon. So if you have any other questions, please let me know now. We're going to probably wrap this up in about 3-4 minutes. I got work in the morning. Got to get ready. So Richie Lara, what's going on, Richie? How you doing, man? So he says, I have JT, Fournette, Saquon, Dillon, Edmonds, and Jacobs. Damn. Okay. My wide receivers are weak. I have Godwin, A-Rob, Marquise Brown. Who should I try to trade and for who? Interesting. Honestly, I think you're keeping JT, Fournette, and Saquon. I think you can get decent value for Dillon, Edmonds, and Jacobs. I would definitely try. You can package them any way you can. Maybe Dillon with Brown for a higher end guy. But if you're looking to grab a guy like Chase or Jefferson or those like top 6 guys that you're looking for, which are top 5, which Kupp, Jefferson, Chase, Diggs, Adams. Like if you're looking to do that, hold on, let me. So Richie says, should I trade Edmonds for Ayuk and Lance? I mean, if you can get Ayuk and Lance for both, I mean, you have you have Kirk Cousins. I mean, yeah, I might do that. I mean, if you can get if you can trade Edmonds for Ayuk and Lance, that's not horrible. You're definitely building it up. But Fabian, how the hell do you have Allen, Kupp, Jefferson, and Chase and Kelsey on one team? How did that happen? Jeez. Yeah, Richie says, I think Edmonds looks good. Yeah, I would take it. And the only reason why I might take that is because of what you're getting it. Oh, Fabian's like, I'm just playing. I'm like, whoa, bro. I mean, my dynasty team is stacked, but damn, that's crazy. Back to Richie. Richie, I mean, honestly, I think you get decent value with Ayuk for Edmonds, and you're getting Lance on top of that. He's a good complement to Kirk. Even though I'm not a big fan of Lance, he's still a decent complement. Um, yeah, I might do that. And then, I mean, like I said, if you're looking to get that top option, you're going to have to give up Fournette or Dylan to get that. So, I mean, if you're willing to do that, then do that. But honestly, I think you're good, with that small trade and, build yourself up. Martin going 6 hour stream on Fridays. Yeah, no, we're trying to cut that back there, Martin. Working hard. He's like, I woke up Saturday mornings and the mother truck is still on, and Ant and Mike just talking about everything. Yeah, we're trying to cut that back, brother. I need my sleep. But yeah. I would never play Edmonds. I played him this week and he did pretty damn well. So Warriors laughing about it. I was gonna say you have 3 first rounders. Yeah. I mean, my dynasty team, honestly, has Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, JT, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb with Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, Cortland Sutton, Dalton Schultz, Darren Waller, and Dalton Schultz. And those are just like guys I start. I do have, it's a 25-person bench. So I got a shit ton of people. But yeah, so I have a pretty good amount in my roster. Martin goes, I woke up Saturday morning one week and saw them still online. Mike said, I talked to the grounds crew because Mike has them on speed dial and he changed his mower blades this morning. I don't remember saying that, but yeah. Then Ant said, "Yeah, the 2 inches of grass affected the." I don't remember doing that. It is not a true story. Anyway, so Richie Lore, he goes, "I know, but I can trade Edmonds in a big trade like Edmonds or Jacobs for a bigger receiver." Yes, you could. I think you could get Edmonds and Jacobs and trade him for like a Pittman or Gabe Davis or Brandon Cooks. Like I think you can get somebody in that range. Maybe Jalen Waddle, Amon St. Brown. Like you can definitely get somebody in that room, into that. I would aim for Michael Pittman and be happy if you get Gabe Davis, Brandon Cooks. So Fabian goes Lance, Higgins, Williams, TJ Swift, Kamara, Knox, Butler. Nice. I like that team. He goes, not you, Mike. If you had his team, you would never play Edmonds. True. Very true. You already did all that. I wanted to get a better wide receiver one so bad though. Ronald's going. Ayuk is going to have a good season. Lance is a great backup for a QB to overtake. I don't disagree with what Ronald's saying. It's just very hard to try to get those top guys. Well, everyone in my league hates Jacobs. I offer Jacobs and Edmonds for McLaurin. I like that pick. I like he was going to be one of my other guys that I mentioned as well, Scary, but honestly, I think the highest you can get is probably like Cortland Sutton, maybe Mike Pittman, but not after last week. Maybe, yeah, I think like Cortland Sutton, Scary Terry are kind of like where you're at with those two guys. But if no one likes Jacobs, it's going to be hard to sell. If you added Dylan to that, you could probably add a little bit more. But the problem is, I mean, Dylan might be your ad. Like you have to do Dylan and Edmonds for someone. If you're giving up Dylan, you're going to have. I would go high. I would go with Pittman and just see what happens. I really like Pittman this year. Ronald goes, so I think this is still a better trade to get this and keep Jacobs. Yeah, I think you should definitely keep Jacobs if you can, but if you can't and you want to get a, good wide receiver one, you might have to do Dylan instead of Jacobs. So Kenyon Drake going up. Drake London going up. I don't know, man. I still don't trust. Not a big fan of Mariota as a whole. He's not really one of my favorite quarterbacks, even though he's good in fantasy. He's really not a great, to me, he's not a great real life quarterback. So I just don't trust it. So maybe, I mean, the volume's there. He's definitely going to be a solid, wide receiver, bottom end wide receiver too. But that's just me. So Ronald goes, but then you don't get Lance and you give up a second piece. Yeah, no, I agree. It doesn't make sense not to take the other trade. Richie says, I got an offer for Dylan. It was Dylan for Juju or Dylan for Thielen. No. You good. You decline them. Yeah, no, that's too little for him. Too little. Ronald goes, you would get something better putting Ayuk with a running back to upgrade. Oh, so what he's trying to tell you is get Ayuk to then flip him with another running back to get someone higher. I think that's what he's saying. So Richie's saying he'll accept the Ayuk trade tomorrow. I get it. I definitely get it. You were taking the two birds in a bush over one in the hand. Yeah, I understand it. For me, I think it's a better offer for if you're just getting rid of Chase and you're getting the two in the, you're still going to have to drop somebody though. So be aware of that. Fabian goes, do you do Dynasty on Sleeper? No, I actually do it's called a salary cap Dynasty League. We do it on MFL. We kind of pay a little extra to be involved with that particular platform. It's a great, I love my Dynasty League, and it's a little more complicated. It's a little bit more fun. Your players have contracts. They upgrade either 10% or $1, whatever's higher every year. And basically you start the league with an auction draft, and then whatever you draft that person as. So if I draft, Josh Allen for, I don't know, $5, which I have, basically I get to keep him at $5. Then the next year, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then it kind of, keep him for another 5 years at the $1. And then it goes up after he gets to 15, it goes up to 17, 19, and so on and so forth. So that's just Josh Allen. There's a lot of other guys with different prices, and yeah. So Richie goes, what do you think Dylan and Jacobs can get me? I really don't want to trade Dylan in case one of my top 3 running backs don't play. I'm just curious. So for me, Dylan and Jacobs, you can probably get someone that I was discussing before, anywhere from Michael Pittman, Cortland Sutton, Terry McLaurin. I think you could probably get in that range if that guy is that needy. That's just me though. I would accept a trade if it was, if I was given Dylan and Jacobs for Mike Pittman and I had like Pittman and like 5 other guys that I really, needed, or the opposite. What I would do is look for the team in your league that has the opposite of what you do. So since you have so many damn running backs, look for the team that has a shit ton of wide receivers that are good, and look for the guys number 2 option and just try for that. Especially if they have, 2 top end guys, if they drafted 1 and 2, the top wide receivers in that particular 2 rounds, they could essentially have like Diggs and Adams or something like that. I would go for the 3rd guy, but I would definitely look for the team that has a shit ton of wide receivers and go, hey, I got a shit ton of wide receivers. Or sorry, you have a shit ton of wide receivers. I have a shit ton of running backs. Let's make a trade and then figure it out from there. But you shouldn't get more than like a low end wide receiver 1. So whoever you put in your top 12, you should, your rankings, I would take one of those guys near the bottom of the list of the 12 for those 2 guys. at least. No, don't take DJ Moore. Cooks I would take before DJ Moore. Yeah, maybe those two. Oh, you're sorry. He's asking for a wide receiver too. So Duvernay, Cooks, Kirk, or DJ Moore. Definitely Kirk for me. Yeah, I would do Kirk. Kirk, Cooks, DJ Moore, Duvernay. That's how I would do it. That would be the order that I would think about it. I would have probably Cook higher or Kirk higher. Sorry, Kirk. I'm getting tired, boys. I would definitely probably do Kirk. Just I like the offense he's in. They're playing it. They're playing Indy this week. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. Richie goes, if I trade them, my bench would fall off. All my bench running backs would be gone. Yeah. No, that makes sense. But you would be able to use wide receiver in your flex. So at least you would have JT, Fournette, and Barkley who can kind of help each other. I mean, you could trade off one of the three of them and get something decent. But I wouldn't suggest it. So Ronald goes, no, if you take, I like Moore this year. Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of Moore. Until he shows me something more, I'm not a big fan. So, all right, fellas, I got to wrap this up. I got to get to bed. I love talking to everybody. Oh, wait, nope, I got more questions. And I can't go to sleep because I want to answer them for you. All right, so Jordan Heckler, what's going on, brother? So should I drop McLaren for Lazard since Lazard will? No, don't do it. Sorry, Jordan, don't do it. I don't care that he's coming back on Sunday. No, I wouldn't drop McLaurin for him. You don't have anybody less than McLaurin? I would find somebody less than McLaurin. I would keep going down your list and find somebody on your bench that you want to drop. Do not drop McLaurin for Lazard. Jeez. Don't do that. Warren goes, go to sleep. You're in New York. You need to rest for Thursday Night Football on Friday. You have a 6-hour stream. Yeah, well. Richie goes, how often do you go live? I've got some great advice here. Oh, I'm glad. We go live on Friday night, same time, 11 o'clock. So definitely, yeah. Martin saying, keep McLaurin, my guy. Jordan says, I could drop more for Lazard. DJ Moore, I'm assuming, is who you mean. And no, I wouldn't even do that, even though I like I don't like DJ Moore that much. You got to keep going lower. Like, I want to know who do you have on the team that, yeah, there you go. Thank you. 11 Eastern for Richie. We are back. But no, do not drop DJ Moore for Lazard. Like, no. Oh, it's an 8-man league. Of course. Okay. So who's on your bench currently? That's who I need to know. Like, I don't want to know who your starters are. Who's on your bench? James Mason, a sleeper. He's definitely someone I would keep my eye on. I mean, he's definitely going to be a big waiver pick after this week if he wins that second. So Ronald goes, Lazard is not an 8-man player. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, I'm surprised he's there. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I don't understand how he's like that. That's why I'm trying to figure out who you have on your bench. Martin goes, I got you, my guy, and should tag in this late, to be honest. I now see why he wants to recruit me. Yeah, man, we try to get you in here. Of course. I would love it. Nothing more than to work with Martin. I love Martin. But we know your scenario and all that stuff, and I'm not gonna try to do that to you. But always would love to work with Martin. Great guy. If you guys, for those who don't watch, or for those who don't know, Martin runs Dynasty Pylon. His podcast does a lot of IDP. So if you're in for IDP and you guys need some help, Martin's one of the best. You will not find a better place, that does IDP, honestly. So make sure you guys check them out at Dynasty Pylon. Fabian goes, where's Trey Sherman? Yeah, he's gone. So Richie goes, all right, thanks for your help. I'll let you get your sleep. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Martin goes, we need to do another keep trade cut. Yes, we do, my friend. Why don't we wait till week 3 or 4 so we have a better idea instead of now? I mean, definitely need to do it. Let me answer this last question. Amon St. Brown and Geno Smith and Zach Ertz are on his bench. I mean, if you want to get Lazard on your team, I would drop. And if you have a decent tight end, drop Ertz or Geno. Like, those are the two guys I would drop before. Yeah, I wouldn't drop St. Brown. I would drop Geno or Zach Ertz if you were looking to drop anybody. Like, definitely. Martin goes, but you're my friend. Get some sleep. Sounds good. Good night, bud. You have Hawkinson. Yeah, drop Zach Ertz. Like, this is an 8-man league. You're always going to have a abundance of riches all over the place. So, yeah, and that's the other part. Ronald's right too. I would drop Smith if this isn't super flex. Like, if it's a normal, everyday 1 QB 8-person league, like, yeah, get rid of him. David Johnson. David Johnson. All right, boys and girls. I am going to be wrapping this up now. It's been an hour and 45 minutes. I got to get some sleep. I got work in the morning. We will see you back here. We will be back on Friday, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific. So check us out there. Me and Ant will be doing a full game breakdown as well as answering your start-sit questions. Then I'm back on Sunday in the morning. I do 11 o'clock Eastern AM just to make sure, we're there. Friday, 8-hour stream. No. We will be doing we're going to try to keep it short and sweet. Nice 2-hour show, if anything. It is usually longer than most shows, but we will try to keep it on a pitch count because we do not want to be up until 5 a.m. like we have been in the past. So make sure you guys come join us on Friday, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. And from there, like I said, I'll be back on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific. And we'll, answer more start sick and active and inactive. So, all right, all. Have a wonderful night for Ant, for Frank, for Dustin, and for myself, Classic Mike. We will see you guys on Friday. Have a wonderful evening, and we will see you next time.